Good night, everyone, and welcome to our third episode of Lewwe Chat. We are back here in action, and I am feeling good. Very excited for tonight's episode with our special guest, Monica Cumberbatch. Good night, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good night.
Good night. Okay. Today has been a bit of a topsy-turvy day, but you
Uh,
ride the waves as they come. How are you?
Yeah.
It's all,
Okay.
it's all good on my end.
Yeah. Same old,
Nice.
same old. We thank God for life.
Yeah,
Great,
that's
great.
true.
Rolene. Rolene is muted, and we can't see Rolene. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, Monica, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Great. That's good to know. Yeah, guys. So just remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with everyone. Tonight, our episode is called "Grow Up." Well, that's a term that we don't like to hear coming from others at all, but it's something that we should tell ourselves on a regular. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our special guest tonight is Mrs. Monica D. Cumberbatch. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about Monica, right? So she currently lives in the USA. I know you can still hear that Bajan accent, yeah. But however, she founded and managed a well-known child care center in Barbados for 26 years before migrating to the US. She's the founder of Pinpoint Leadership Alliance, a
Mhm.
life and leadership coach with a focus on personal growth strategies. Monica has 32 years entrepreneurial experience, leadership experience, 6 years as a college instructor, and is the author of the Leadership Newsletter. She delivers practical solutions to help serious people expand their leadership capabilities in order to
Mhm.
get to the next level in their personal and professional aspirations. So, Monica, I know I would have talked a little bit about you, but let us know a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so good night, everyone. I'm so glad to be in your space tonight. Um, I am a certified John Maxwell team member, and I am married to my awesome hunk, Charles, and we have two grown daughters, Destiny and Azaria. As we said earlier, I have worked in early education for like 26 years, and I right now we have a family business, which is a garden care business, the Pinpoint Leadership Alliance, and I'm also a beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. So my hands are kind of busy, but I enjoy it all.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. That's good. Doing a lot, but once you enjoy it, that's what's important. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. So everyone in the comments, how is lockdown treating everyone? Well, I know we're not necessarily in lockdown anymore. Sounds so normal to say that we're in lockdown, but thankfully
Um,
here in Barbados we have received some ease. We are
Ease,
now
yeah.
able to get haircuts and whatnot. So yeah, yeah. So we're actually going to be diving right into the discussion growth. We're going to be talking
Mhm.
about the topic of growth and dive right
Yeah.
into personal growth and everything that's necessary to ensure that we are growing in the right direction according to the goals that we've set for ourselves. Yeah. We're also going to talk about the challenges, the various challenges that we experience along the way. So right now I'm going to allow Monica to present.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. I am delighted to share with you on this topic in this area, the area of personal growth, because this is an area that has tremendously impacted my own life and has contributed tremendously to my own growth. I remember many years ago as a school leaver, I was at the Community College Division of Hospitality Studies, and that's where I started my journey. And I remember one of the courses that we took was called personal development. And that made such a difference in my life. And I really saw how you can empower people to be, let's say, a better version of themselves. So, this is something that I am delighted to share with you this evening. Now,
Mhm.
this evening, I'm going to extract from book by John C. Maxwell called the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. This is one of my favorite books because he has given us like 15 tools, 15 laws, which we can implement to grow both personally and professionally. Now, the one law that I'm focusing on tonight is called the law of the mirror. And we will be looking at ways to help build self-esteem so you can grow. Now, you may be thinking, self-esteem, does she think that we are teenagers? Why in the world will we be dealing with self-esteem? No, I don't think you are teenagers, but I want to tell you something. Now, this material that I'm going to share with you, this is shared in organizations with top-level executives. And I can tell you as a coach that every time this topic is shared, you get feedback, you get tears, you get pain, you get expression of loss. So it is real. And I want to also tell you that there are probably, from experience, we realize that there are probably more adults dealing with the area or trying to grapple with the area of self-esteem than the teenagers that we may see, right? So this is one of the, I would say, the biggest obstacle to a person's individual progress. So the law of the mirror. So the law of the mirror tells us that you must see in yourself value so that you can add value to yourself. So you must be able to see value in you so that you can add value to yourself. So you got to be able to say, hey, Monica, I am valuable. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, I am valuable. So because I have that mindset, then I am able to go the distance of adding value to myself. Now, let's be practical here. Now, in order to see yourself, what do? When we want to see how our hair looks, how our face looks, what do? We go to the mirror. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's how we get a glimpse.
Correct.
That's how we get a view of what we look like. Okay? So when we talk about taking a look in the mirror, this is really dealing with the power of positive self-esteem. And self-esteem is one of the most significant keys in a person's behavior. Why? Because it's impossible to act consistently when you believe something else. So you cannot act consistently in a particular behavior when you believe something else. Then that something else does not line up with how you see yourself. So what does that say? It says that we will never live beyond our own beliefs. Now, you know, you hear the phrase, you've heard this, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Listen here. There is no such thing called fake it. Yes, it's a term, but in reality, it is so erroneous. You will fake it until somebody finds you out or until you crack, because you can only fake it, for so long. Agree?
Correct.
Right. You cannot outperform your own self-belief. Let me say that again. You cannot outperform your own self-belief. Okay. Have you ever been invited, let's say, for example, to network marketing meeting, all right? And this opportunity is presented. So on the one hand, you are saying, man, I really believe that this opportunity is the perfect thing to take me to the next level or to get me where I want to go, right? But inwardly, you were struggling and you're saying, man, I don't know if this thing gonna work out, you know. So what is happening here is that outwardly, you are trying to convince yourself when inwardly, you can't even outperform that. So you see what I mean? So this is a picture of what is happening when you go with the idea of faking it until you make it. On the outside, you're saying one thing, but on the inside, there's another reality. What you feed your brain, the thoughts that you are listening to, that's the reality that is going on the inside. And guess what? Nobody can really see it. All right. So the truth is then, you will never make it until you make a decision to change something in your self-belief. So how do we move from faking it till we make it to having a more positive self-image? And I would like to share 4 different ways that we can do this. What I would like to do right now, moderator, is would you like to ask anything at this point? Would you like me to continue?
Well, yeah, I think you can go ahead unless anyone in panel or anyone watching has a question. Yeah, Dre.
Yeah, I just want to slightly play devil's advocate. First of all, thank you, Mrs. Cumberbatch, for the information you've presented so far. It's been very insightful. In terms of playing devil's advocate, I want to touch on the point about what you said about faking it till you make it. I agree. But then I also think that sometimes when people say fake it till you make it, I kind of think it's like is a bit of manifestation. So let me say personal affirmations, for example. Somebody, like, they're struggling with their self-esteem, but they want for themselves that they want to be able to say, you know, I'm smart, I am kind, I am beautiful, but they're not at the point where they fully believe it yet. But they're still saying it and they're still repeating it until eventually they do believe it for themselves. So for me, like, that could also be another form of faking it till you make it. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is that I would like to maybe hold that, because that very thing I'm going to come to.
Okay.
And, but you are so correct. But I would like to address that. And if I don't address it thoroughly, please bring it back up. Please bring it back up. All right. Because I will welcome the opportunity to talk about it more. Right. Okay. So any other before I move on? No, you were saying I should move on, right?
Yeah, if anyone else doesn't have any questions, it's fine. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say you came right out for me.
You feel that?
And I am so, let me just say, I am so grateful for this. But I want to actually hear what you have to say later on about what Trey just said, because I honestly, I never believed in that either, to fake it till you make it. Right. And I was not sure if it was just me, just because I'm having that hard time of, you know, this whole self-esteem issue, why I just never believed that. So I would love to hear your perspective on it as well.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so the 4 ways that I will share with us in terms of how, because remember, keep this in the back of our minds. We are talking about growth, about growing, right? So that's why the question that Trey asked is so important. All right, so one of the ways that I can share to help with the whole self-esteem area is to guard your self-talk. Okay, you know, we talk to ourselves, but it is also very important to learn how to talk back or clap back to ourselves. Why, you say? Because what we tell ourselves are the things that we tend to believe. And there are so many millions of thoughts that go through our heads in a 24-hour span. And a lot of it are negative thoughts. So when you start telling yourself, and this is to answer the question that was asked, when you start telling yourself, I can't do that, so you may feel weak, you may feel, I can't really do it. But when you counter that thought with, yes, I can do it, or when you feel, I don't feel able to do so and so, you can counter that thought with, yes, I am able to do it. Now, one of the principles that we apply in coaching is understanding how the brain functions. There is the conscious and there is the subconscious. There is nothing that the conscious part of our brains, it can accept and it can reject. But the subconscious part of our brains can only accept. It cannot reject. So here's the significance of that. What you tell your subconscious, it will accept that. So if you keep feeding it, I cannot, it will come to a place where you really cannot. And if you tell yourself you can, even though you are at the place where you're not quite feeling it, you're challenging yourself. And eventually all of you begins to align with your positive thought. All right. So that's where that comes in. So our self-talk, it guides and it directs everything that we do. So what I would say now is that because we understand that, it will be good to begin to develop some daily routine of affirmations. And I'm talking if you're struggling in a particular area. So rather, if there's a particular area, rather than saying I can't and I don't feel and yada, 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 you can begin to develop yourself. You can grow past that. You don't have to remain at that place for the rest of your life, okay? Because what these things are limiting beliefs that hold us, you know? So we want to have counters. So I do this for myself, and I would encourage you to do it, whether it be a list that you type out or whether it be index cards that you have. You just begin to declare affirmations. I am strong. I am confident. I am able. I am persistent. I am making bold steps. Your self-talk must be strong. And the reason I say that is what I was telling you before. By the time you reach age 17, it says, you would have heard no or you can't about 150,000 times. And compare that now with you can do, which is only about 5,000 times. So for every you can do, there's about 30 you can't. That's a mammoth thing to be struggling with. So you see now why it's important for you to be able to feed your thoughts, you know, so to reduce those limiting beliefs, to help you over those hurdles. Because if you don't, you pose a threat to yourself in terms of your progress. You pose a threat. It is dangerous for your kids. It is dangerous for your spouse. It is dangerous for your job. Some people do not accept positions just because they feel they can. You understand?
I feel so attacked.
Boy,
like that last point really hit home. Because I remember when I was in sixth form, my sociology teacher, like, he approached me with this opportunity. He was like, all right, Trey, like, you write really well and I know you can research, so I want you to enter this competition. And at first I was like, yeah, cool, I got you, no problem. But then, like, I got into my head and I convinced myself, you know what, Trey, like, you would probably mess this up. So then basically a series of events happened that eventually led to me telling my teacher, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I made up some excuse. And then the girl that went in my place, she placed second in the competition. And obviously I'm there like, well, had I gone, who knows what could have happened. And yeah, basically all my teachers let me have it. They were like, Trey, like, boy, but I'm just sharing that to say, yeah, like, how capable you believe you are really does influence like how you approach and how much you capitalize on the opportunity. So again, yeah, attacked, but
yeah.
And I think that it runs so much deeper than that, because I was actually, well, I talk to myself every day as well, because I'm a very self-reflective person, so I do it every day. So I was thinking about this perception that I have of myself, because I think that it runs deeper than what I can and cannot do. It's an entire perception of who you are as an individual. And sometimes I feel as though I have this out of body experience where I am this little girl looking at this woman and feeling as though, you know, have I accomplished all the things that I dreamt of as a child? Have I, you know, achieved certain goals that I would have established when I was, you know, 15, you know, and I was looking at 15 and 20 years on the line and looking at myself, have I done this and done that? And sometimes I would get that self-doubt and saying that, you know, I wish I was further ahead, etc., etc. But when I look at the things that I have accomplished so far at my age, then I have to remind myself, you have done a lot.
Beautiful.
You have achieved a lot. You have given, you have gained, and you have grown.
Beautiful.
And I think that is something that we do have to spend time doing as we get older, reminding ourselves of our accomplishments and our goals and our achievements, and then start to chart the path of how we're going to move forward and how much more we're going to put in now that we know we've achieved those particular milestones.
That is so beautiful. I like that. One of the exercises that I do with folks is that sometimes, like addressing what you said, Roland, is that I would have them write a letter to their younger me.
Mm.
And when you're having those kind of thoughts, so you have grown, you're older now, and, you know, you may be feeling away, you know. So what you can do is, it's almost like you are giving counsel or advice to yourself, but you are doing it to the younger me, because guess what? You know the dreams and the aspirations of the younger me. So like you said, have I fulfilled them? Yes, I'm feeling lousy right now, but look at what I have accomplished and celebrate them. And that's going to bring me to, I'm going to come to that in a little minute about celebrating your accomplishments as well. Now, another way you can help with that can help you grow out of the low self-image thing is to learn to stop comparing ourselves with others. And I know that this is a big problem, especially for women. Stop comparing ourselves with others. This is a bad practice, and here is why. You see, when we're looking at a person, we never know where they are along on the journey. So let's say we both are 27 years old. Let's say myself and Jodine are 27 years old. So Jodine has accomplished, let's say, in terms of being practical, she already has her master's degree. And I am here struggling to get my bachelor's degree. And I'm comparing myself with her. But guess what? I do not know what she has gone through to get there. I do not know what she has given up to get there. Am I willing to make the same steps that she made to get there? Am I willing to make the same sacrifices? When I was out playing with my friends, you know, when I was partying with my friends and having a good time, and she was busting the book, so to speak, you know, so I don't know where she is along the path. So am I comparing my beginning with her middle or my middle with her end? We never know where that person is. We never know the whole story. We always only know a part when we're looking at someone else. And furthermore, sometimes we look at people, and then this is another very practical thing, and we think they have it all together, and it's so wrong. I remember there was a time when I was in a meeting, and I wasn't even talking. My husband was talking in the meeting, not even me. And somebody in the meeting attacked me. And who are you to say this? And you always have every hear this, and your nails are always done, and you think you're this, and it's like, are you kidding me? I was stunned. I wasn't talking, folks.
Projecting much.
Like, I was saying.
Did I know that somebody was watching my nail polish? That sometimes I would just put on real quick, and if you really take a good look, it looks crappy anyways. So you see, you don't know what you're comparing yourself with. All right. Somebody may be able to carry Louis Vuitton purses. Well, guess what? They got a rich aunt somewhere. But you, everything you have, you are working for.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like to have a rich aunt somewhere, but I get your point. I get your point.
Okay. So if you are going to compare yourself with somebody, the best person to compare yourself with is yourself.
It's yourself.
Right.
Am I a better person today? Sorry?
No, sorry to cut you. I was just thinking that I actually wanted to mention that thing that you just mentioned about being attacked because people think that you always have it together. Like, it's so strange. I am literally always stunned when I hear people tell me that they think I have it together. I am 300% always in shambles. Like, no idea what is going on at any point.
Thank you. I feel understood.
But because of what you were talking about earlier in terms of like how important your perception of yourself is, I tend to try to make a practice of acknowledging my weaknesses, but also acknowledging my strengths. So I fully know who I am. The people around me cannot project who they think I am onto me or tell me that I am something that I don't believe myself to be. And I think that a lot of people become extremely threatened by confidence because you believe who you are and you are just living your life as who you are, and they want that and they hate that you have it and they don't know how to get it, so they seek to destroy that for you.
That's right. That's right. And the other side to that though, and Trey shared that earlier when he said with his what it was biology. What did you say it was?
My sociology teacher approaching me about the research competition.
You see, at that time you were lacking confidence in yourself. You were not seeing what other people saw in you. And sometimes, you see what I'm saying? Sometimes you can sell yourself short. Now, if 10 people tell you you are really good, why sit and struggle with a self-esteem that says I can't do it? You know, you could sell yourself short. So maybe what you can probably do is step back from yourself and try to see yourself through the eyes of these 10 people. And even if you don't feel as confident, step out, because guess what? When you step out, you will grow. As you take one step, you know, the rest will open up to you and you will grow. Right? Right. So I'm saying compare yourself with yourself only. That's the only person that matters right now. And I'm not talking in a sense where you have somebody that you're using them as a model to grow. I'm talking, oh, he has this or he has that, and I'm the same age or and I don't have that yet. No, we don't want that. The questions you need to be asking yourself are, am I a better person today than I was yesterday? Am I a better person now than I was last year? So these are the questions you need to ask yourself and be able to honestly answer these questions. Because this is what happens when you begin to compare yourself with others. So let's say Glenn is looking at Trey and he is seeing Trey as ahead of him. He begins to get all discouraged and eventually quits at whatever it is he's working on. Okay. On the other hand, Glenn thinks that Trey is way behind him. So you know what Glenn does? Glenn gets comfortable and he gets complacent and he stops growing. Because you're comparing yourself pretty much with a lower standard. So you see how dangerous it is now to compare yourself. So what you need to do, another thing you can do is to practice like small disciplines daily. Now, let's say you want to learn how to manage your time better. All right. Okay. Don't go and get a weekly schedule and try to manage that. Again, let's go back to the index cards, right? And pull out your index card and try to manage a day. So when you will foul up, because guess what? You are growing and there's something called growing pains. So but learn to manage that one day and then manage the other day. And then before you know it, you are managing 5 days. Before you know it, you're managing 7 days. So without looking, you get to the place where you can even do it without even looking at a daily to-do list. All right. And what the other thing that we can do, and I think somebody mentioned it early, is learn how, I think it was Roland, learn how to celebrate small victories. Now, that's a thing that my husband and I are dealing with quite a bit right now, celebrating small victories. And the biggest thing is weight loss for a lot of us women too, you know? So you want to lose X amount of pounds, but you love so-and-so. So
just pass the pounds to me, any ladies who looking to lose.
You want to lose 20 pounds, right? You've managed to lose 5 pounds. Celebrate the 5 pounds, because that is going to do something to your mind as well. You know, there are no big victories without small victories. The small victories set you on the path for bigger victories. So if you are not counting and celebrating those small wins, you're going to burn yourself out before you know it. You will get discouraged and you will quit, right? So like the earlier example of time management, what you need to do the first day that you complete some successful routine, whatever it is you're working on. So let's say the first day you were able to manage your time, manage your time for that day and you come out good, high five yourself. Yeah, I did it. Okay, I did it. I can do this. Yeah. So you want to do that, and you want to do it every time. Celebrate those small wins and small victory, because as long as you are doing that, you are programming yourself. You are setting yourself up for success. And
I want to say that the last two that you mentioned, for me, they combine, because I struggle sometimes with taking it one day at a time. I am always thinking about next week and a few months down the line and a few years down the line, because I'm kind of a planner, so I'm always looking at what is my next move, where do I want to go. And I've had to, over the years, remind myself to pause and live in the moment and enjoy where I am. So and this is one of the things that I would tell myself. One of my affirmations, I guess, would be enjoy where you are. Even if it's a struggle, even if it's a challenging time, enjoy it. Because it's a time in your life that's going to teach you how to grow. It's going to teach you a new skill. It's going to build on a character trait that you may be lacking in. So enjoy that moment, as opposed to being frantic or worried about next week or next year. Live in that moment. And if it's a good moment, celebrate it. Enjoy all of it. Because when it's gone, or even as the moment passes, you're able to look back and say, I enjoyed that time. I celebrated that time. And you can look back at the memories and say, this was a good time in my life. So for me, those two things really combine, because I always have to remind myself to live in the moment, to enjoy March 18th, 2001, and stop worrying about May 18th, 2022.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's good. I could not say that better myself. A good affirmation to say for that. And you don't wait for a moment that you are celebrating to say that, because obviously it sounds to me like you need to retrain your brain. So it's like every morning I am living in the moment, or I am present. I like to say I am. So I am present in the moment, right here, right now.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to say as well, I have been trying to learn to do that. Like I'm trying to learn to live in the moment and not plan ahead as well. I ain't get it under the bag yet. It's still a struggle. Just like I wanted to say as well, when you were referring to celebrate, and I have to tell myself to celebrate my weight loss journey as well. Because for me, what is happening is I would lose, let's say, 2 pounds today. So I feel happy, right? And then tomorrow, God's my life, I would eat something, and then my weight gone 3 pounds above, and then I'm like, no, this is not it. And then I'll feel so bad. I'll be depressed. Well, not depressed. Depressed is too strong of a word, but I'll just feel so
discouraged.
Discouraged, yes, thank you. And I would just be like, I'm over this. But then I would see other changes in me. Like I won't huff and puff to come up the stairs anymore. So then I'll be like, okay, Jadine, push on, you can do this. So it's a struggle still. It's still a work in progress, but I would try to celebrate a bit more as well.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes.
In terms of living in the moment, because one of my affirmations is, like, you know, normally people have stuff like, you know, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, whatever, but one of mine is I am safe. Like, that's something that I have to consistently tell myself. Yes, safe. Because that I find that I have had an issue with safety and security. So like things like anxiety and stuff like that. So in terms of living in the moment, what do you do when you want to escape the moment? You do not want to be in the moment.
Well, okay, I would say, okay, this is in terms of a practice. Okay, you know that that's your struggle, all right? And you know that you want to grow past that. Make a deliberate growth plan for yourself in that area. So that will include, say, okay, this is what I would like to accomplish. Okay, so then you think ahead. What are some activities that I can do to accomplish this? One may be, when I begin to feel that way, I do my affirmations. Even if I did them this morning, that may make me feel safe at this time. So before you get to the problem, you make a plan, because you know a plan is giving you, a plan is a tool to help you, or roadmap to accomplish something. So to me, if you want to be intentional about your growth. So to be intentional, it means you will sit and you will say, this is what I want to accomplish. These are the activities that I will do to accomplish that thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Does it help somewhat, maybe?
It does. I think I'll
Okay.
try that.
Yeah, try that. So, because you know the things that trigger you, you know, so you almost want to do the opposite of the things that trigger you. I do not recommend running away. There is no growth when you run away. So on March 18, 2022, you will be saying the same thing. I promise.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my final point or tool, which is one way to help boost your self-image is and gain that confidence is adding value to others. Now, one of the best things that you can do when you are feeling discouraged and down and in your stinking thinking zone is to try to add value to others. You may ask yourself, who can I help? Who can I serve? Right? So it is through serving or helping others that a lot of times you realize things are not as bad as they seem. And you know, somebody else's circumstances might be 10 times as graver than yours. And that's not to dismiss your particular circumstances, because guess what? It is whatever you're experiencing that is a discomfort, it is real to you. So we don't want to discount that. But when you put yourself out there and try to serve others, somebody comes to you with a problem. Many times people call me and I'm not feeling on top of the mountain at that time, but I take the time, talk with them, deal with them, help them, and in helping them, it also helps me. So what you may want to do is get your eyes off yourself and get, you know, focus on somebody else. You know, you may be complaining about your ugly shoes, but hey, they have somebody right there that ain't got a foot or don't have anything. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Judine.
Okay, as it relates to that, right? I'm not sure if this would be the same thing, right? But sometimes I would tell myself, do not find comfort in other person's
Yes.
wait, basically, like for example, if just what you said, I have a shoe, I don't like it, but then I have to condition my mind that they don't have a shoe. So I must find comfort in that. I don't really like to do that.
No, wait. That they don't have a shoe, they don't have a foot.
Oh, well, it's kind of the same thing to me.
I don't think that's what Ms.
Okay.
Cumberbatch was saying. I think that the idea is that you are doing something to help them as opposed to sitting in your self-pity and sorry, because I was actually telling my students this recently. I don't know if it's a recent realization for me or if maybe it was a reminder that God gave me recently that sometimes you are sitting and you are feeling sorry for yourself and you are going off about all these things you don't have and you haven't accomplished and all these things are going bad in your life, and then you are then exposed to someone else. Because I had a friend who was really going through a hard time, and I found that when I stopped thinking about myself and I started thinking about that friend, praying for her, being there for her, finding ways to support her, then my problems became less. My problems seemed more minute compared to what that person was going through. So I think that for me is the idea, looking at the ways that you can be of service to someone else as opposed to making your problem the only thing in the world. Go ahead.
I get you. I honestly agree with that. And that is something that you should actually do. But like, for instance, like if you can't help, like you're in a position where you can't help, you yourself can't help.
In what way though, Jadine?
But okay, I understand what she is asking, what she is saying, and what I would say to that. Why we're saying, okay, when you see or focus on the other person. It doesn't negate your situation, but it brings you to a place where you realize, you know what? I have something. I don't have everything that I want, because sometimes it may not even be a need. It may be just a want. When you begin to practice gratitude for what you already have, you know, at least, so this is what we're saying. At least I have shoes. They're not the best shoes. They're not my ideal shoes, but I have shoes, because guess what? This man over here will never be able to wear shoes, good or bad. So it's just something that helps you to get out of a place and to move forward in growth. It is also something that helps you, not as Rolling said, you know, there are other things in the world beside you. So you may want to consider something like, you know, really, it really is not about me. Or was I put here on this earth for something more than just myself? So it's just a way, because you remember what our topic is growth, growing. I'll keep that in your mind. It is growing. So I want to challenge you, Jodine, when you enter into that space, starting tomorrow, I want to challenge you to think otherwise. Think about what we said tonight.
Can I also add? Yes, I will. Because I was, from the beginning of this week, actually, I was trying my best to build my self-esteem. Because I came to the realization that I'm still struggling with it. But also, I actually wanted to bring this up earlier. One thing is, right, I would try to encourage myself, right? Let's say, for example, I would tell myself, you deserve good things, because God said that we deserve good things and He won't withhold good things from us. And then I would say to myself, okay, I deserve good things, but XYZ also deserve good things. So let me just put myself on the back burner, because those are things that I normally do, and it would just take me straight back to the place of feeling not the best. So yeah. So I would try.
Please do, and document it. You remember what I said just now? You on the 18th of March 2021, and even before you get there, 6 months from now, am I a better person now in that area than I was 6 months ago?
Okay.
So that's what you're aiming for. You're aiming to grow in any area of dysfunction. Sometimes we can have dysfunctions and it don't bother us. Sometimes we don't even realize it's a dysfunction. But the fact that you recognize it and you don't really particularly want to be that way, it is an area that warrants you put in some focus, attention, on, should I say, in terms of intentionally growing yourself in that area. Right. So,
and I was gonna say, I don't think that by focusing on others, I don't think that it means that you're putting yourself on the back burner per se. I do think that it simply means that you are looking for ways you can support someone else through their struggle, as opposed to just focusing on yourself only. Looking and as you said, Judy, you were asking earlier, what if you don't have the means to help them? Your support is enough. It might just be an encouraging word. Might be enough. It might just be a word of prayer. It might just be, you sending something out to them wherever they are and saying, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to pray with you. Whatever it is that you need, it may not be something tangible, but something intangible can still be enough. And you are not putting yourself on the back burner by doing that. You are actually facilitating your growth by doing that.
I like that.
Yeah, that's great. And I just want to add here. That's actually something I have loved doing. Like from young, I would always love to give service to people, do stuff for people, and see people smile and happy, and in whatever way I could. But I realized, like, over the years, recent years, like, I was more so giving in one aspect and not the next. And when I wasn't able to give in that aspect, I'll be like, I feel helpless. But then I had to come to the realization that I can do more than just that. There are other ways to assist people. There are other ways to assist people that might not be tangible. Although you might know exactly what they need, you can assist in other ways. And also when it comes to the point that it's not that you're neglecting yourself, and as Rolene said, putting yourself in a back burner, is this that you realize you're not on this earth alone, and that there are other people who are struggling with whatever it is. You're not struggling alone. But when you can help others, it really, for me, it puts me in a better mood as well. So it also helps me, right? So I found that something that always worked more so than just doing this for myself. Let me just treat myself. Let me do, just focusing on myself. Although it is good to focus on yourself at times, but I find it completely fulfilling when I can help others and help them get to whatever situation they're in whatever way. Yeah.
Let me throw a spin on this. Because I'm taking this liberty because I heard most of you, or a good few of you, refer to God or something like that. I can't remember the terms I heard, but for me, okay, I'm a Christian, all right, and one of the things we do as Christians is worship. Now, when we worship God, we could be, and I know this is a practice in my life. I don't know about anybody else, but I can tell you that I could be feeling the worst way. I made a decision a long time ago that no matter how I feel, I would worship God because it's not about me, and He deserves the glory and the praise. He deserves for me being able to stand here, breathe, be alive, have a roof over my head. For me, this is me. It may not be somebody else's take. My God deserves the praise for that. Okay, He deserves worship for who He is. So guess what? So when I'm in a place where I'm feeling miserable and I'm tired and I don't really feel, because I've made that decision way back then, I just do it naturally. And guess what? You cannot worship God focusing on Him and still be focusing on yourself at the same time. So you are not neglecting yourself. So I'm just addressing Jadine, but just on another level. All right. So you're not neglecting yourself when you worship God. You are focusing where you need to at this time. And as a result of doing that, something happens. So where you started out by not feeling like opening your mouth, and you may muster a little amen, and then you're lifted to another place, and it was like, what was that about? You see what I'm saying? So you receive something from it when you forget yourself and immerse in something else. Does that make it?
Yes, and that tug at my heartstrings.
Great.
And I think for me, when I am most down, that is when I lean on God most. And I find that on the days, especially when I feel as though I didn't wake up in the best mood, I know immediately that it's time for me to praise. Immediately, I know if I wake up and I for whatever reason I don't feel like myself, immediately I know now. I didn't know it a few years ago, but I'm learning as I'm growing. I know immediately it's time to put on some music, Rolene. It's time to, because I would have already prayed and read my Bible and stuff like that. I do it every morning, but still listen to music and listen to specific songs, specific lyrics. I know it's time for me to praise. And then that puts me in the right mood because I've invited God into my space, into my heart, into my mind, and He's going to set the tone for my day.
Beautiful.
So on the days when I feel most down, that's the time when I know I have to rely on God a little bit more. I have to pray a bit more, praise a bit more, because then I need Him even more.
Excellent. Amen. Excellent. So just remember, and I am finishing with this thought, just remember what we said about the law of the mirror. If you don't see value in yourself, you cannot add value to yourself. I'll say it again. If you do not see value in yourself, you cannot add value to yourself. Or for that matter, you can't add value to anyone else.
Very true.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'll end on that note and be here to
Answering.
be a part of the discussion.
Great. I think that was a discussion in itself. Listen, we are very grateful for your wisdom and your knowledge, Monica. It was very insightful. I was quiet a lot because I was just taking in all the information. It was like a lecture, just there, like, yes, ma'am. But yeah, I appreciated all the information. I'm sure that anyone watching appreciate the information as well. Yeah. So I just had to add one thing. Do you believe that in terms of your personal growth, can we use our personal growth as an advantage in the workplace? I know we're speaking more personal, not professional, but for me, I used to struggle with self-esteem. When I came out to a little bit in secondary school, but it was still there, right? And when I got my job at the bank, like I didn't feel like I was qualified enough to be working where I was working. I went in there not knowing much, and like through that entire experience, all the years of being there, it's just like I didn't have much to offer, but because I wanted to learn and I wanted to know more about what was going on, everyone in there, have all their different degrees and whatnot, and they know what they're doing. They were trained for years, and they come in a fresh little man. It was just, it was a bit intimidating. But the people, and there's also another point, the people that I was surrounded by helped me to grow in that environment and be comfortable and to be able to, press and get through certain situations, right? And now those people I'm actually super grateful for. So it's like using our personal growth advantage to grow in the workplace. And I have to thank my workplace, for that, because a lot of my growth happened there. Like I was never I don't think we would have Lewwe chat, to be quite honest, if I wasn't working at this financial institution, just by the way. But yeah, because I was a very introverted person. Like you could not get me to say a word. I will not come out and do any public speaking anywhere. Can't see me Glenn in the background forever. But because of all the different things that happen there, answering phones, having to interact with customers, the training that you receive, and not just like do this, or do that. It was like more mentoring, right? So because of those persons that I had training me and around me at that time, like it was easier for me to get through those situations, to learn to express myself more, to just be bolder, right? And I just found like through that, it's helped me to grow a lot in my personal life and a lot to do with my personal attributes, to be quite honest. So I really have to thank them for that and those people for that. So I really believe that who you surround yourself with as well really helps your growth in any aspect of your life. Yeah.
I endorse that 100%. Environment is very, very important when you are talking about growth. Now, first of all, like I would say, how do I say this? My sweet spot is leadership.
Mm-hmm.
All right. However, if me or you as a leader, remember I said, if you don't see value in yourself, you can't add value to others. So what happens in your personal life will 100% affect your professional growth. Yeah. So guess what? Being introverted, you can go on a plan, get a coach or whatever to help you with that. But guess what? The workplace will benefit for it. You will become a better employee for it. So
Definitely.
I always advocate, and I believe in, and that's why I do this, personal growth. I usually say personal and professional because it will transfer to your profession. It will. So I agree with that 100%, that environment. And always when you are seeking to grow, especially in a particular area, whether it be socially or academically or what, you need to be in an environment. You need to see models of people ahead of you who have attained what you were striving for. So that's why I'm saying that is not a person you are comparing yourself with, but that is a person you are emulating. This person has gone the distance before. So really and truly, when you look at them, what you are seeing is like, hey, come, this is the way you do that. You see, when you emulate, when you have a model.
Thank you. Don't know if anyone else has any questions or anything to add.
I just want to give an example of personal growth transferring into professional, because I did feel a similar way to you when I started teaching, because first of all, I was like going to be dealing with children and they require lots of patience, and I was not patient, but the funny thing is I used to pray for patience when I was younger, but then when I realized all of the nonsense that I kept going through, I was like, okay, no, patience means trials that teach you patience.
Yes.
So
yes.
yes. So I had to go through quite a bit of different things, and with the whole online system now of teaching, you require even more patience. But this whole period has actually made me realize that because of all the personal stuff I was dealing with before we went online, that my patience is now at a level I could have never, ever, ever foreseen. Because literally it's to the point where my internet might break down and I would just be like, okay, find a way around it. These children, and this is not a challenge in case any of them are watching, but they don't frustrate me. Like every day I just go through with them. They can ask the same question a million times, ask me to repeat something 10,000 times. But I don't get frustrated with those menial things anymore. And that's because of all the different personal things. And I think that I also think that has to be a sort of skill to learning how to not compartmentalize all of your life, how to bring things that you learn from this aspect into other aspects.
Right.
Great.
Definitely. And I think that altogether it's an attitude. For me, it's an attitude. So I like to tell myself, and I like to tell my students, so for me, especially this year and last year, to have an attitude of growth. So I am seeing ways, or I'm looking for ways to grow in every single area of my life. And I'm looking at how the challenges that I face in every area of my life can facilitate my growth. So for me, it's an attitude. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of looking at things. It's a way of dealing with situations that come your way, as opposed to, and I say to my students all the time, and because I'm teaching myself this. Yes, you feel frustrated. Yes, you feel upset. Yes, you feel angry. Yes, you feel annoyed. You might even be livid. You feel that in the moment, and then you find a way out of it. Because if you stay in it, it's going to make you bitter or toxic or any of those things. It's going to regress your growth. If you want to keep developing, then you find a way out of it. You facilitate your growth by looking for ways to grow. So for me, it's an attitude. So for the viewers out there, I encourage you to facilitate or to have an attitude for growth, for development, and always be intentional about it, always.
And track your growth too.
Right.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Track your growth. Yeah. Anything, Jadine? Anything to add?
Well, it's just that I have my colors are being coupled up, and I'm grateful for it because I'm learning a lot, and I'm hoping
Yeah,
to take it back
for sure.
and grow.
Beautiful.
For sure. Yeah. I thoroughly love the presentation, Monica, and the whole discussion, all the questions that everyone asked. It was great. Thank you. Thank you again for coming. But just before you go, if you have any tips for anyone that's watching, you can leave them with some quick tips for us, just to share with everyone.
Actually, I like what Rolling shared. If I were to end with something, it would have been exactly that, to have an attitude of growth, because you want to take situations and use them to facilitate your growth.
Right.
There's a law that we share on called the law. It says, like, when these bad things or negative things happen to you, you can do one or two things. You can get bitter, or you can choose to allow them to better you. So you use the negative things, you use your dysfunctions, you recognize them. Awareness of self is so very important. So the moment that you become aware, like, hey, this thing is a problem. This thing will stop me from going forward. This thing will stop me from being a better person tomorrow. This thing will stop me from being a good mother 2 years down the road. This thing will stop me from being a good spouse. So you want to use your awareness of self and your discovery that, hey, this is not the best for me. You may have dreams, you may have aspirations, and sometimes we forfeit. And this is big. Sometimes we forfeit our dreams and our aspiration because we refuse, we camp out the particular place we know is a problem, but we are even so fearful to jump that hurdle, to jump that barrier. We are so fearful. Sometimes we say something like, you know what? This is who I am. I am who I am. It is what it is. No. I challenge us out of that place. As long as you are alive, as long as you are breathing, there is opportunity for growth. No one has arrived. So until you die, there is something in yourself that you can be working on. And one other thing I want to say is to you guys, personally, I'm so happy to be a part of this discussion this evening. And, I am a people developer. I love to see people grow from stage to stage. I am one that like to push people to reach their potential. And I just want to say to you, panel, that I am very, very proud of what you are doing as young adults. So I congratulate you on your work. I believe it is a good thing. So I want to encourage you to keep talking and keep serving your community, because you are serving. This is a service you are offering, and this will cause you to grow, because when you rub shoulders with me, or when I rub shoulders with you, and when you rub shoulders with each other, and when the viewers send questions, sometimes they may be difficult questions, but we are growing, we're stretching, we're expanding ourselves. So this will cause you to grow as you share your hearts and as you learn from other people. So as you grow, you will also help others to grow. So I want to encourage you to keep up the good work in what you are doing in terms of serving your community in this capacity. I am so proud of you because you are young. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel so loved. Thank you. We all feel so great. That was, give me chills. But yeah, we would definitely continue to keep pushing this, this channel and what we do. definitely. Thank you for all the great advice and the encouragement. We definitely need it always. We just want to wish you the best on the rest of your programs whenever you go to do your speaking. That people are blessed by it. That people understand what you're saying and people are impacted tremendously. Thank you again, Monica, and good night.
Good night. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. Right. So everyone, we're going to take a very short break. Do not go anywhere. Please, we'll be right back. Right, we are back. Welcome back to Lewwe Chat, our third episode. We had Monica Cumberbatch with us, and we are now back. Now, to this segment of the show, what we're going to do is advertise a small business. I know we all love to hear about small businesses in Barbados, and that's what we're going to do. So tonight, I have with me Asha Ward. Asha, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you?
I am great. I am fantastic. Did you enjoy our discussion tonight if you were watching, obviously?
Yes, a small part that I was in, I enjoyed it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, Asha, you are the owner of a business called Lewwe's Beauty.
Yes,
Now, I
baby.
just want you to tell us a little bit about Lewwe's and what it is that you do there.
Sure, no problem. Glosses started in August last year, in the middle of the pandemic. And so far, I've enjoyed this journey. The name Glosses actually came from Micah, which is my boyfriend. I had this concept of an oasis. When you come into the spa, I want you to feel like you are loved in this environment, space in this environment. But I didn't want to use the name Oasis, so he came up with Glosses. Once you leave, you have this glow, and you feel right at home. So that's my journey. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, great. So I actually have a poster here. I'm just gonna share it. So it says we are reopening on March 22nd.
22nd, yes,
Okay,
on
nice,
Monday.
nice. On Monday, okay.
Yes.
And I see you have also a 20% off special on your reopening. So can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
I know the pandemic has hit almost everybody extremely hard. So I wanted to come up with something where people could still come and spend some money, a little bit of money, but still feel love.
Okay, nice. So I see you have manicure Monday, treatment Tuesday, wind down Wednesday, pedicure Thursday, and fantastic Friday. So is it just that you get 20% off, like say example for manicure Monday, you can get 20% off all manicures, but you can still get a pedicure done on Monday?
Definitely. I'm not going to stop you.
Okay, no
Just
problem.
manicures will be 20% off for that day, but you can include any other treatment that you want for that day as well.
Okay, great. And it says that the offer is valid until April 30th. Oh, that's actually my birthday. Cool. So I need to get started. All right, yeah. Where can we find you and contact you to book or
Sure. I have Instagram, and in Instagram I actually have a book now tab that you can click on that. You can contact me via my cellular phone, which is at 239-2838, or you can also contact me on Facebook at Asha Ward. So my Instagram is Glosses Beauty. You can contact me on my phone and Facebook as Asha Ward.
Okay, great. Thank you for that information. It sounds lovely. I'm sure especially a lot of the ladies will be having it on over because it's been a stressful year. It's literally been a stressful year. So everybody head on over to Lewwe's Beauty.
So I'm so excited.
Discount. Yeah, I mean it sounds good. It sounds
and
good.
Gents as well. Don't leave out the gentlemen.
Gentlemen for sure. As well. For sure, I gonna be there for sure. For sure. So yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Asha, for
You're
joining
most
us.
welcome.
Thank you for sharing all about your business. Looking forward to all the great things and all the best with your ventures. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yes. So we are back, and we are just going to say good night now. So good night to everyone. Thank you for joining Levy Chat. Thank you for joining us for yet another discussion, another lovely discussion. So next week our topic gonna be hot. I mean, I can't spill anything yet, but it gonna be hot. So just prepare yourself. But make sure you follow us on Instagram to keep updated about everything like we chat is doing, all of our episodes, any new ventures. We started on Popular Opinion. We're actually gonna drop a video next week Friday. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So yeah, next week we back here on Levy Chat. So good night everyone.
And